We are live. Well, welcome to this week's episode of Secure Insights with NDK Cyber. Excited this week to be joined by Anas from Hoplon Cyber. Anas, welcome.
Hi, James. Welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me for this podcast. Pleasure to be here. Looking forward for this webinar to help answering any questions you might have and explain further what we do.
Of course, of course. Um, you are obviously founder and CTO, or co-founder and CTO rather. I'll leave my introduction to you there. Are you okay to give us a bit of context on your background and experience, and I guess what you're up to now?
Absolutely, yes. I've spent 15 years of the last 15 years of my life in the boring subject of cybersecurity. I say boring because it's just when you talk it to any non-technical audience, they either run away or they try to shut you out the most polite way. I had my fair share with different corporate. I played with the Global Security Operations Center for KPMG, for the FCA. I did some work for Ministry of Justice, and I had also an engagement with the NATO. Um, I helped organization from 5 employees, startups to building a SOC for a governmental body in Azerbaijan. So yeah, I've been lucky to work on the front lines of really challenging environments. And also, I have been unfortunate to see some businesses getting devastated with some cyber attacks.
Understood. So fair to say you've done your time as a practitioner, so to speak, in the cyber world.
Yeah.
Now, at a very high level, the more recent journey with Hoplon, what's that been about, just at a high level for the minute?
So we started, me and Yanis co-founded Legal CyberSec first in January 2020. And we've been successfully onboarding more than 150 clients on our books across the globe from the US to the East. And during that journey, we realized that there's a gap, there's a problem. That problem is that the market is very saturated with a lot of vendors, but there's a shortage of skills. There is also a bit of we're trying to demystify the concept of cybersecurity. Like we've seen small to medium-sized businesses spending thousands of pounds purchasing cyber vendors, but they had no idea what to do with the finding of these. Like they
Mm.
get overwhelmed with alerts. Sometimes they just buy them and they just collect dust on the shelf, or they misconfigure them. So we decided, okay, there is a gap that we could solve a problem for by coming up with a Hoplon. And when we thought about Hoplon initially, like any other founders, any other startup, we pivoted a lot,
Mm.
right? It didn't come up from the first version, like this is what Hoplon needs to do. No,
Mm.
we started like, okay, it's going to be one-stop shop for everything from SMBs might need, but okay, it was very saturated market. We didn't find the real fit for us. Then we thought, okay, now we start to give it a bit of flavor, like chat integration with Slack, Teams, WhatsApp. So make it a bit more what a business would need from a real security analyst in their team.
Mm.
And then obviously the AI wave came in, which we decided, okay, you only can face AI with AI.
Mm.
And that's when we decided Hoplon should be a virtual security analyst or team that any SMB could need, but they cannot afford,
Mhm.
and that they could bring on board in less than 30 minutes. How does it work? Is that think of Hoplon as a virtual security team that you call to come. This virtual security team can come with their own tools or they can operate on your own tools.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Okay, so if you have a long-term commitment with an existing vendors or you're happy with your existing vendors, but like I need somebody to demystify what's this vendor telling me, and I
Mm.
need something or someone to tell me on my WhatsApp, on Slack. I don't want to keep logging to the platform. I don't want to dig into thousands of alerts in my mail. I need to do my business,
Mm.
get the peace of mind that I am protected and there is an experienced team interpreting what these vendors are telling me
Mm.
and being proactive 24/7. That's Hoplon in a nutshell.
Understood. Okay, cool. And so just to get, like, I guess, underneath the hood of the problem here. So it's largely targeting small, medium enterprises, right? That's the where the sort of the problem area tends to be.
Yes, we started targeting because we realized this is the most urgent market for us right now. But Hoplon in version 6 will be also on the radar of the big enterprises. Think of Hoplon as the disruptive product like Cursor and Cloud Core for developers.
Okay, cool. I
Right?
got you.
I envision Hoplon to become the virtual assistant for any security analyst on enterprise. Like Hoplon will give you, here's all the findings that you used to do L1 and takes you a lot of timing. Now you can do your L3 work if needed. Or if it can be resolved from L1, here's what Hoplon resolved. Do you approve or not?
Wow. Okay, cool. And I'm very, very keen to get into a moment. But I guess just looking at the journey so far, the small, medium enterprise space where you've been sort of initially playing and targeting, you kind of touched on a few points there. But is this that, if I'm a small, I don't know, chain of car showrooms, for example, I've got 50 employees, one IT person, maybe two. Is it that cyber is deemed as this sort of maybe too difficult, too expensive? Maybe I feel it's not necessary for my business. Who's going to target me? That sort of thing.
Actually, this is a fair point. A lot of small businesses, they say, I'm too small to be targeted. But what they don't understand is that with the AI and before the AI, there are a lot of hackers or malicious actors. They're not targeting SMEs only, they're collecting them because they are low-hanging fruit. If you're a small or medium-sized business who deals with customer data, you have something valuable for the hacker. If you are dealing with payment, you have something valuable. So why would you believe that you're not a target? Because before it used to take, a collaboration between multiple malicious actors to build a payload, a plot for a plan to attack you. Now it could take them one single curious teenager who has just read something, I want to try something, and they want to test it against you. Would you survive that test?
Uh,
Unfortunately, 75% plus or 75 plus percent of SMEs will not bypass that test of a curious teenager who found something he want to try.
That's some pretty insane stats.
Yeah.
And am I right in thinking that with a few clicks of the mouse and the buttons and stuff, that that teenager, for example, could go onto a ransomware as a service type organization, and it's quite accessible these days, right? As opposed to
Yeah, it is exactly. If that curious teenager has a malicious intentions, he could go and he just like block you out of your business, or he might be impersonating you to get some money out of your clients, or he could be manipulating your system to redirect the payment to you or get personal data. There are millions of opportunities here with the
Mm.
SMBs. It's not only about ransomware. I could be a business who I've seen a competitor coming up, and I say, you know what? I need to stop that competitor. How much would it cost me to
Wow.
get them out of business with a hack? Yeah,
That,
unfortunately, it happens because it's happening in, whatever happened in real world will happen in the cyber world.
that's pretty worrying to think of that. And so I guess these small businesses not thinking they're a target, that's an educational piece that we need to sort of overcome to a point. But what about like expense and things as well? If I'm a small business, am I going to go and buy CrowdStrike, for example? Probably not.
Um, our goal or our mission is to democratize cybersecurity. That means you as a small business, you deserve the same protection as an enterprise because you've been targeted by the same hacker, the attackers. So there's no point that the enterprise spending millions while you're spending few quids. So we want to break this cost barrier for the SMEs. And if you think about the cost, what is the cost barrier for SMEs? Is the labor
Hmm.
because they cannot afford to hire somebody. It is the complexity and cost of technologies and the understanding what cybersecurity does. So if I can solve these three problems, SMEs should have no excuse not to protect themselves anymore.
Understood. And I guess then I was going to ask you, where did that like light bulb moment happen? And it seems to be in that kind of conversation there around can't afford, not aware, and the labor piece is sort of the perfect sort of trifecta of, well, let's build a technology solution that helps then.
So the first light bulb, all what's the word when they say eureka?
Eureka, the aha moment. Yes. Yeah.
Aha moment is that, as I mentioned, we were MSSP and we talk to our clients a lot, and we ask them like, guys, when you think about cybersecurity, what does it mean to you? If you describe it to me in three words,
Hmm.
nobody mentioned a platform, a fancy platform. Like like when you have a cybersecurity or when you have car insurance or house insurance, how often do you log into your insurance account?
Hmm.
That's the same thing for cybersecurity. It's rarely that somebody logs into this. cybersecurity platform. Or what they think about cyber, I'm protected. I have somebody to explain what happens if anything happens, and I have somebody to go to available that I can reach out to if I've sensed something or I want to check something. So we give them the protection. Hoplon, as I mentioned, could come with their own tools. If you are a business that doesn't have any tools, Hoplon will bring their own toolkit, deploy it in less than 30 minutes, and run it for you.
Wow.
If you want the assurance, Hoplon can come to you on Slack, Teams, WhatsApp, whatever communication you work at, and will keep you updated and posted. And it could also consult you to get your approval for certain activity. And the last thing is Hoplon is available 24/7 for any question. So if you read something in the news about a similar business that get breached because of
Yeah.
XYZ, but you have no idea what's XYZ mean, you don't understand it. It's like these cybersecurity jargons might be a bit complex.
Mm.
You have Hoplon available to you. You can reach out on WhatsApp, like, hey, I saw this business similar to mine. They get breached with this. Am I vulnerable or am I exposed because of this? You can get an
That's,
answer on the go. You get the peace of mind rather than having sleepless night, like, what if my business go out of business like that
yeah,
competitor?
yeah.
Yeah.
Or you hear about, certain retailers in the UK at the moment, or I don't know when, was it SharePoint that went down a few weeks ago? I forget now. So it's that kind of conversation, isn't it?
It's been a chain between the big players, AWS, Azure, Cloudflare. Each of them had an issue. But yeah, these like a big players issue. It might not be cybersecurity related. It could be probably most of the time DNS related issues.
Sure, but if I'm I don't know, yeah, a medium-sized retailer, I've got one IT person, I hear about X big hack happening, and now all the fallout from that of customer data and court cases and fines and so on and so forth, that would keep me up at night. So, but the bit you mentioned there, 30 minutes to deploy onto the systems.
Yeah,
That's very, very, it sounds very quick, right?
yeah. It's we start as I mentioned, we pivoted a lot, and we started. The first version was like, okay, it takes about 45 minutes to onboard. That's not good. We try to bring it down. So if you want to go on our freemium, which is free for everyone, you can do it in less than 5 minutes. If
Wow.
you want to go for the smart or the starter, also it takes about 10 to 15 minutes, which is the same for the smart. The premium one takes worst case scenario, when I say 30 minutes or 15 minutes, it depends how tech savvy are you when you are onboarding, because you will have strict instructions on the onboarding, do this, do that. Even there's an AI chatbot to ask it during the onboarding, like, what do you mean by this? Where do I go to this? But if you are a CFO or non-technical person, you might, okay, click here, take your time. So we
Mm,
did a test with me as the product owner, with somebody else who's not the product owner, but the technical person. And we saw, okay, average 15 to 30 minutes for the premium, 3 to 5 minutes for the freemium, and between for the other packages.
that's it just seems extraordinarily quick, and you speak to people in the space, they talk about partnering with an MSSP or something. It takes weeks of onboarding and learning systems and meetings and so on and so forth. It just seems rapid, which again, if you're a small business, you're time poor, you have that flexibility there. How
Yes, yeah.
are you doing like a human in the loop piece here, or is it completely autonomous? How does this kind of work?
So the unique differentiator for us, or what differentiator from the competitor, is that we have our crown jewel, which is an internal kind of triaging ticketing system where we kept a trace of all the security incidents we faced during our MSSP time, and we wrote the logic behind every action we took.
Okay.
So the reasoning, the train of thoughts that we have is there. So the LLM can learn from what we do, but also the LLM, whenever it takes an action, it notify us as the security team at the back end and notify the client, this is what I have done. If you like it, if you don't like it, I can revoke.
Okay.
So we can still give it a feedback on the Threat Intel Hub over Slack or Teams. We can interact, like we can interfere on the back end ourselves. There's always a way for a human to go and say, this is wrong, revoke it, this is what you should have done.
I got you. I got you. So is it working on artificial intelligence or is it conditional logic on the back end?
No, it's a real AI, because everybody, like, I got a challenge from an investor. He said, you are hard coding these results when I did a demo. And I told him, okay, you still get the same results because I'm querying for some findings for a certain day. So the AI is not going to make it up. So actually, it's a good point that it's returning the same results, not hallucinating. Um, if you want to automate this, we have gazillion scenarios that you have to think of. We
Mm,
cannot automate all the scenarios we might face. That's why what Hoplon represent is we are creating a replica or cloning the brain of a security analyst into an LLM with the reasoning, the train of thoughts. What would a security analyst have done if they faced this?
mm,
Agent would say, okay, I faced this. Let me go see what a human analyst did before. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh, when they faced this, they did this first. Go to
mm.
the LLM, the brain, check with the LLM. This is what I found. This is what I need to do. The LLM will confirm that, okay, you need to do this. Go to the tools, API call here, API call there, send a message to the client. Hey, James, I detected that your colleague Mark logged in from Japan, but I reached to Mark over WhatsApp and he confirmed he's on holiday in Sharm el-Sheikh, so he's not in Japan, which
Mm.
for me that confirms his account has been compromised. So I disabled his account, reset his password. Would you like me to revoke for you? No, that's fine. You did your job. In comparison to the MSSP, who will say, we detected unusual login for your colleague Mark from Japan. Hey, James, are you available? James is busy. Are you available? Da, da, da. By that time, the malicious actor already did all what it needs to do with your colleague's account.
So it's real time and it's 24/7.
Exactly, because the attackers don't sleep.
Yeah, understood. Okay, cool. This is awesome. So with you, you mentioned you have a few customers already. What, 150 roughly?
So on the product itself, we have 12,
Okay, cool.
12 existing customers, about 200K ARR, but the 150 was the number of the MSSP that we built on our books.
Apologies. Okay, cool. But still 12, so it's being utilized, it's in the real world. What's the
Yeah.
kind of what's the reception been then? I imagine very positive. I hope so, having asked that question on a podcast, but what's been the feel so far?
Um, Few customers they had, actually, we have the testimonials available on the website. One example was a customer who managed to, in a fintech in the UK, achieve ISO in 2 weeks, ISO readiness in 2 weeks with a fraction of the cost. That's another thing that I forgot to mention about Hoplon, that when it comes to compliance, you don't need to go and pay 10K plus for, other players. You can just plug Hoplon to your systems. There's an ISO readiness toolkit. You could do it yourself, or you can get us to support you. And you get ISO ready in, depends on the size, in a fraction of the time with a fraction of the cost. And we can also help you or support you bring the auditor with a reasonable cost.
So this isn't just sort of a quote unquote blue team cyber defense. This is also governance, risk, and compliance, not just support, but actually getting you through that certification.
Yeah, we,
Wow.
we, we help the clients all the journey from the day they joined us, getting them ready, getting them ISO ready, bring the auditor, help the auditor. Even the auditor used Hoplon platform to verify their findings. Because
Wow.
if you look at the Hoplon modules, we are literally connecting to majority of your system, so we can answer any question from the system itself.
That's I can see that being a game changer for a lot of people. Again, in that kind of like not even just smaller businesses, but maybe larger businesses where budgets are a bit tighter, they can't afford to have large security teams. That when a new certification comes through, not just ISO, but whatever it might be, having this there to then clean up most of the quote unquote grunt work here and the findings and everything else. Um, that could be huge, huge time saver, save on fines or potential fines, breaches.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's an enabler because let's face it, every small to medium-sized business they want to work with a big player. This big
Mm,
player, could be a big bank, a government, NHS, health, and they all tell them, get your get your ISO sorted out and come back to us. So get your ISO sorted out. If they go with another vendor, 3 4 months, 10K plus, come to Hoplon, 2 to 3 weeks, fraction of the cost, and you are ISO certified. So this is the real differentiator. So it's not only compliance and tick the box, it's enabler for your business. Because if you want to work with FCA or a central of one of the biggest banks, you need to show a muscle that I am security wise, I'm strong.
I got you. I got you. And so we've talked a fair amount there around the whole small medium enterprise piece. You mentioned earlier sort of the next step is sort of targeting your more enterprise players in the space. What's the appeal from the enterprise side of the house to take on something like Hoplon?
Um, so the enterprise is in our radar for version 6, which should be end of 2026 to start hitting the enterprise. The reason we didn't target the enterprise yet, because enterprises usually have way big variety of security vendors that you don't like. With the SMBs, you can expect to a certain point what system they might have,
Mhm.
right? You can anticipate, okay, they will have Google Workspace or Office 365. That's it for email and document management. For EDR, they have a range of X, Y, Z vendors they will go to.
Mhm.
But when it goes to the enterprise, the variety of vendors you might to deal with, it might be overwhelming for our current model to accept. So that's why we made a decision strategically. Go for SMBs for now. This is a market that is in a higher need.
Yeah.
That will help us to serve a highly demanding market, first of all, and that will help us also to do a bit of effort on our LLM to be ready for the enterprise. How do I see Hoplon in the enterprise? So the enterprises will always have a security team.
Mhm.
Hoplon will become a virtual assistant for that security team.
Understood.
Yeah. Like Cursor is now helping all developers, or Cloud Core helping all developers, or
Good.
Copilot.
It's a huge value add and time save and everything else in there. Yeah, and I take your point around the complex environments. If I think of some of the, I don't know, banks we've worked with over the years, you've got everything in there from all these different vendors to yeah, mainframe and COBOL systems underpinning applications everywhere, and it's a different beast altogether. But it seems to be I've spoken to a lot of people in this sort of early stage space over the last 12, 18 months or so, and there seems to be a real lens moving towards that SMB market of not forgotten space is the wrong phrase to use maybe, but I think a lot of people are focused on the big enterprise wins and then the whales and the Fortune 500 and so forth. That there's a lot of fun to be had in the small medium space.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, as you spot on. So another problem with the enterprise is a lot of legacy systems that, like, if we have a single big enterprise client who's asking for it for them or they fall in love with it, obviously we can invest to customize it but for me to go and prepare the solution for enterprise, it's not going to happen until end of 2026.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, cool. And so ARR is coming in, customers are signing up. What are we looking at next? Are we doing the funding thing? Are we where are we on that kind of journey?
Yes, so we are now in the seed round. We are raising $1 million and we secured 45% of that from a UK-based VC. Today we had a successful conversation with another potential seed level VC, but
Nice.
definitely we're open for any more investment calls. Once we secure that fund, things will accelerate significantly in our development. And when I say it's accelerates, the AI maturity will become way faster because, as you know, we've been bootstrapped. So we fund our product from our MSSP. If we have a fund, that means we don't have to invest in the MSSP anymore. So we can focus 100% on the product. I have an amazing team in-house from an engineer, analyst, developers, and a data scientist, but I need to grow that team to a size where I can deliver what I'm supposed to deliver in 6 months in a month or less, and then we can target a US market. We can go to GCC market because another thing you have to think about, like some markets, they run all their businesses on WhatsApp,
Hmm.
right? Like in Dubai, in Saudi, everything is run on WhatsApp. So imagine if you can communicate with your virtual security analyst on WhatsApp, voice with in Arabic. You don't have to do it in English.
Hmm.
Right? This is we have a great potential in this field because cybersecurity is a very, I'm not going to say boring again, a very challenging domain, and the vendors and the platforms is a very saturated market.
Yeah.
But to run these platforms and vendors, that's where we find ourselves a sweet spot. That to manage all these complex vendors and systems.
You're right in the middle of it for sure. Having done that funding journey very recently, and I know there's conversations happening now, but even securing the first 45% of the funding you're going for, is there any lessons learned along the way of what to do or maybe what not to do when sort of going for this kind of funding?
Um, yeah, you're right. It hasn't been an easy journey. There's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of disappointing emails, rejections. You get your hopes high with a certain investor, and suddenly you get that email with an unfortunately in it.
Yeah.
Um, I would say that raising fund is it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Okay.
So if you get rejected for the first 6 months, it's fine. You can keep going, keep pivoting. That's the most important thing.
Pivoting.
Because if we acted stubborn and we said, okay, no, we need to raise on this, that would have been very challenging. So we pivoted a bit, and that helped us a lot. And we saw the change of response when we pivoted. We changed our pitching multiple times, and every time we changed the pitching, we saw different response. Um, One advice that I learned from the accelerating program we did with AWS and with Match 37 is that when you start raising fund, prioritize your target VCs. First thing, assess if your business is a VC investable, and then go for the least important for you because you don't want to burn your cards. Just get the feedback.
Oh, I
I've
see.
done,
Okay. Yeah. 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 Like a trial run almost.
yes, yes, trial and so always make sure like these are the most important 10 VCs or hedge funds I need to target. These are the least, the last I need to talk to, and the rest I need to talk to first because I need to collect feedback from them, see what their reaction is. I think it's also there's another thing that I noticed makes a big difference is events and in person.
Okay.
If you talk to people in person, get to know people, it makes difference than online things.
We're seeing that too. We're seeing that too. Just to go back to your initial point there, making sure your business is investable from a VC standpoint, just at a
Yeah.
high level, what kind of things should an organization be looking for there from your perspective?
Um, Ideally, scalability, market size. Um, I think these are the two main things that define if you are a VC investable. And don't take me for it. I'm the CTO, CPO. We have a co-founder with us, Ala, who's our partner, looking at this. He's the expert on this. But that's what I learned from my interaction with the VCs, the rejection emails when they say, okay, the market is not clear for us, the scalability is not clear for us. That's when I say, okay, the VC rejected us for this, so I need to work on this.
Hmm. I got you. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. And I guess just finishing up here, you touched on a few sort of milestones already with the customers and the revenue, but I saw you're now part of NVIDIA's Inception program.
So
There's
yeah, we've
Go on.
joined multiple programs. I was telling you before the recording that we are not doing great celebrating what we have achieved, but we've been part of the Match 37, which is a US-based cyber accelerator program, and we were the first non-US startup that they adopt. And we also were shortlisted for a City of London Cyber Challenge back in 2023. We were accepted in the AWS Emerging Technology Accelerator Program 2024 and NVIDIA Inception Program in 2025. We are waiting for a few responses to different accelerator programs as well. So keep tuned, keep up to date with our feedback. Hopefully, we can announce more.
No, that's awesome. It's great to see such success early on, and fingers crossed for that conversation earlier today, or the more to come around the funding pieces. It sounds like 2026 is going to be huge. So yeah, all the best, and thank you for fielding my abundance of questions.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much.
Thanks, Anas. Bye bye.